Hi and welcome to 5 Worst Things About. Yesterday I had an absolutely atrocious migraine, the worst one I've had in 12 months. So guess what today's is going to be about. And yes, this will be an ongoing thing because I have lots and lots of topics that there are 5 worst things about. There are also lots of topics that I have 5 best things about, so look out for those too. Anyway, today, migraines, and go. Sweat. Seriously. I don't know what it is about the pain from a migraine, but my God, does it make me sweat. It makes me sweat, to borrow a phrase from a friend of mine, like a paedophile in a Barney suit, surrounded by kitties. It's that bad. I mean, sweat just rolls off of me for hour after hour after hour, and the end result is, not only do I stink, but my bed stinks, so I end up having to change my bed. Yay. It sucks. Because the day after a migraine, I usually have the humdinger of all hangovers, and the last thing I want to do is change my bed. Actually, the last thing I want to do is get out of bed, but that's another topic altogether. So, the reason that I sweat so much, well, that's number 4. Pain. Pain sucks. Migraine pain sucks the most. It's like a thermic lance going through your head, and the worst part about it is, it's not just your head that hurts. It would be one thing if, you had a lance of fire going through your head like that, in, out. But it doesn't work that way. No. When I get a migraine, my eyes hurt. They feel like they're pushing out of my sockets. My mouth hurts, my teeth hurt, my neck hurts, my shoulders hurt. And because I'm pretty much lying in one position for hour after hour, my body starts aching. It frickin' sucks. And the worst part of all isn't just that it hurts a lot. It's that it leads very quickly to the nausea. Honestly, I have a chronic bowel problem. I have a chronic stomach problem. And seeing as your stomach starts in your mouth and ends at your anus, you can imagine there's a lot of things to choose from. But I'm always nauseous. I always get sick. I always throw up. I mean, a day where I don't throw up is a rarity. But I would take every other bilious episode over what happens when I have a vomiting migraine. I don't always have nausea with migraine, because there's different types of migraine. But when I have the worst of the pure traditional idea of a migraine, the nausea is just horrific. It is the worst nausea I think I've ever experienced. You're nauseous if you don't move. You're nauseous if you move. You're nauseous if you eat. You're nauseous if you don't eat. You're nauseous if you drink. You're nauseous if you don't drink. You're nauseous if it's bright. You're nauseous if it's dark. You're nauseous if it's loud. You're nauseous if it's quiet. You're nauseous. It sucks. And the worst part of all is, for me at least, when I vomit during a migraine, I get something that's unique to vomiting with a migraine, which is kind of the pelvic floor muscles between my bits and my anus. They scream. And there's a bus after parking right outside. Isn't that lovely? Lovely timing. So yeah, so I vomit and those muscles just shriek, and the end result of that is my legs go weak, and it just sucks. It frickin' sucks. But the absolute worst part about the migraine itself is this. Painkillers for me are kind of a weird thing anyway. Painkillers, they can work really well or they can work terribly. They don't rarely work anything in between. But what I will say is this: with a migraine, nothing relieves the pain. Nothing. Nothing at all. I've yet to find a painkiller that gives me any relief from the pain of a migraine. What they usually do, if I pick the right painkiller, is make me not care about being in pain. And typically that's something like Maxi-Leaf or Sulfadine, something basically codeine based. And they have their own problems in that they do weird things to my stomach. Most people, they would constipate. With me, they make my diarrhea worse. And believe me, There are a few things worse than really, really horrific diarrhea with a migraine, because then you promptly have stuff coming out both ends. But they do make it so I don't care that I'm in pain. I kind of get floaty for a little while, and usually I can slip into short little 15-20 minute micro sleeps, and it helps get me through the day quicker, but it doesn't stop the pain at all. I'm lying there in frickin' agony, and yesterday's migraine was a particularly nasty one in that it actually prevented me from even listening to music on my tablet. I actually have a playlist specifically for migraines and panic attacks. It's very calm, it's very gentle, it's very soothing, and yesterday it was frickin' agony to listen to. That hasn't happened to me in over a year. Now, when it gets that bad, you're just lying there, bored out of your frickin' skull, wishing any medication would help, and none do. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest problems with a migraine like that is keeping the medication down long enough that it actually does you some good. But all of those four things, having to change your bed the next day, the fact that you stink of sweat, the pain itself, the fact that you're nauseous, and the fact that painkillers don't work, they're not the worst part. Oh, no. The very worst part is migraines tend to come in groups. It's called migraine cluster. So you might have a singular migraine. Emphasis on the word might. I typically don't. I am recording this at very high speed, having done all my bits and pieces for the next few days, having swept in the whole lot, because I am very much aware of the fact that in half an hour, in 5 minutes, in 10 hours, at some random point in the next 24 to 48 hours, I could have another migraine, and it could be as bad as the one yesterday. I'm not joking. I'm not even slightly exaggerating. If I have a second migraine within close proximity to an original migraine, it will be as bad or worse than the first migraine. Imagine that. And I don't know if this is going to be a cluster migraine. I have no idea. I won't know until it happens. That is by far the worst part of migraines, at least for me, and this list is rather personal. The absolute worst part is not knowing if you're going to have another one, or worse still, knowing that you probably will have another one, and that it will be as bad, and that you will be lying in bed again, sweating like a bloody British National Front member when he realises that, oh, I'm 50, I'm fat and balding, but there's a 17-year-old girl in the crowd and I think I can get my hands on her. Because there's nothing wrong with that. Had to get it in there. But my point here is, you're lying there, you're aware that in a few hours you could be lying there sweating bullets again, unable to move, unable to eat, but starving hungry, which is another weird thing about migraines for me. I'm hungry the whole time I have a migraine. Isn't that nice? So, yeah, so you could be there, lying there, sweating in agony, with vicious nausea, knowing nothing is really going to help. Just that you have to suffer through it until it ends. So yes, that is the worst part about migraine. Admittedly for me, the not knowing if I'm going to have another one within the next few hours. So, have a nice Friday, and I will be back on Monday with another Minecraft Monday. Bye!